Real truth daily. This is Daily Truths with Dave Ahlman.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Daily Truths. What are you facing currently in your life that really needs a strength that only the Lord can give? There might be something in your future that is difficult and trying and perplexing and overwhelming, and you really need the strength that only God can bestow. Remember, we're talking about John the Baptist, who has been beheaded. Remember, Herodias' daughter, Salome, under the influence of her mom, Herodias, said, I want the head of John the Baptist. That's exactly what they did. And now the disciples of John the Baptist have been contacted, and this is what it says about them. And his disciples came and took the body and buried it. And they went and told Jesus. Now, this obviously tells us that John the Baptist still had disciples, right? Even though many of them had left John the Baptist and followed Jesus, he still had disciples. This also tells us that the association between John the Baptist ministry and Jesus' ministry was still very close. Also, the disciples wanted John the Baptist to get a proper burial. It would have been right and fitting for the Romans to just take his body and throw it in a trench somewhere, and so they did what was right. This also indicates that the Roman government was very violent. What they were going to do to John the Baptist, and eventually did, obviously, is the same thing that could happen to Jesus. And so when these disciples went and told Jesus what had happened, they could have very well said, you got to watch out. You don't want to mess with them. The same thing could happen to you. Of course, it wasn't beheading, but rather crucifixion that happened to Jesus. Now, what's the bottom line of all this? It was very difficult for these men, and probably women as well, who had followed John the Baptist, to take his body and bury it. How difficult that must have been. This was their mentor, their friend, their discipler, their trainer, their leader, the one who is the forerunner of the Christ. And now they have to take his body and bury it. How did they do that? We all have had to face things in life that were challenging and difficult and trying. How did we get through it? Through the strength that only the Lord can give. And I'm sure when these men and women were summoned by the Roman government and said, hey, John the Baptist is beheaded. He's not here anymore. What do you guys want to do with the body? And they could have said, hey, just throw him in a trench somewhere. But no, they did the difficult thing. They anointed his body. They wrapped it, I'm sure, and then they placed it in the ground. How challenging and difficult was that? So I asked you a question here a little bit ago. What do you have in your life currently that you're facing that needs the strength of the Lord? Remember, the scriptures say the joy of the Lord is our strength. The Lord is my strength and my song. St. Paul said when he was facing challenging circumstances in life, he said, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. So here's how you deal with it. You call upon the name of the Lord. The Bible says in the Psalms, call upon me in the day of trouble and I will deliver you and you will glorify me. So whatever you're facing in life, do not face it alone. Face it through the strength, the dependence, the accompanying spirit that only God can give. Indeed, how did they deal with that difficult concept of having to bury their dear friend? They leaned on the strength of the Lord. Do the very same thing with whatever you are facing this day. Lean on his strength, and his strength will get you through. And that is today's Daily Truth. Have a great day in Jesus Christ.
Thank you for tuning in to Daily Truths with Dave Ahlman. Pastor Dave Ahlman is the pastor of Mount Hope Church in Boulder, Colorado. If this ministry is blessing you, please consider supporting us by sharing this channel with a friend. You can also like, comment, subscribe, or leave a review. This helps us tremendously. Come back tomorrow for your next Daily Truth.